yourself and seeing somebody else, and everything is not the same, no. It feels like all our lives have changed. Maybe when I'm older it'll all calm down, but it's killing me now. What if you had it all, with nobody to call? Maybe then you know. 'Cause I've had everything, no one's listening. That's just fucking lonely. I'm so lonely. Everybody knows my past now, like my house was always made of glass. Maybe that's the price you'll pay for the money and fame at an early age. Everybody saw me sick, it felt like no one gave a shit. They criticized the things I did as a gay kid. What if you had it all, nobody to call? Maybe then you know. 'Cause I've had everything, no one's listening. That's just fucking lonely. I'm so lonely. Lonely. I'm so lonely.
All right, all right. Hello, everyone. This is Diamond Rivera of the Live Discussions with Diamond podcast, and tuned to another episode on season 5. And you just saw an amazing routine by Leo and Jamonte from the Lonely Bachata remix by DJ Tronky, also representing Viva la Bachata as well. This episode is sponsored by Tu Bachata Radio, where you can listen to this interview live in high quality. And today, people, I'll give you all the way from the Lithuania area, my friend, my brother, Mr. Leo Cato from Elegancia Dance Company.
What's going on, man? What's going on? How you doing?
What's up, my brother? What's up, man? It's been too long. I think over 2 years already. I mean, we
It's been
haven't
a
seen.
long time. It's been a long time, but I'm glad we're reuniting and we're back. So
Absolutely, man. I mean, even though it's through virtual, I mean, this connection is better than no connection as
yeah,
well.
exactly.
Well, like you're in Lithuania, I'm in New York. Even with the Wi-Fi's, everything just happens. And again, this is organic. It's great to just actually see you and us talking also behind the scenes of future projects that you have in the works, but
Yeah,
also the recent success of all of the projects that you and your company have been able to do and all the accomplishments, man. Again, congrats to you. Kudos to you.
but I really appreciate that. That means a lot, man. That really means.
Absolutely. I mean, for me, all the way in New York, still, me being in this dance scene for a while, now having this type of platform that I can celebrate the success of people like yourself, but also realizing, me and you go way back. So I mean, definitely
Way back.
years. So I mean,
Way back.
before Elegancia, before the yellow on the top of the hair, we
Ah,
go.
yeah, well, I don't know if this is gonna be a long-term thing or like a 2-month pandemic desperation thing. So we're gonna see what happens.
Absolutely, man. And also big shout out to all the people out there in Lithuania. I know things with the lockdown. Just everybody keep safe, and in due time we'll be dancing soon enough. But man, honestly, I'm glad again that I can have you on, giving people kind of a glimpse of who Leo is, especially besides what you just do on a dance floor. It's
Correct.
more important than that. Realizing, I mean, we might even go back to the, I don't know, the bodybuilding days. I don't know,
Oh,
you know.
man, we can go back as far as you want. My diaper days, bodybuilding days, maybe
That's
maybe maybe just not the hustling days, right? No, but no, I'm playing. But yeah, man, we can go as far back as you want to go. So yeah.
Absolutely, and definitely throughout the talk today, we'll have probably some live comments coming in. For example, all the way from the DC area, Bachata brunch, Mr.
Hey,
Ooh, oh,
in the
what up,
house. What's
bro?
up, brother?
Yes, showing love out here. Definitely. So, Leo, as I do with all my guests, I love to kind of take it all the way back. I'm talking about before dance was even a thought. Who was Leo before dance?
Who was Leo before dance? Okay, so let's start from the beginning. So I guess I was born and raised in Delmar, New York. So Delmar, New York is a small town 10 minutes south of Albany, New York, which is the capital of New York. So I'm from New York State originally, not actually New York City. So I grew up in that town, and when I was 18 years old, I moved to New York City, and that's where a lot of things change, because growing up, I grew up in a relatively, conservative in some way household, but also very progressive. I mean, politically, my family was always very modern and progressive, but in terms of like their values and stuff, they're a little bit conservative and a little bit traditional with how they brought us up. I come from Caribbean and Portuguese blood, so I'm Caribbean and Portuguese. So my dad, on my Caribbean and Portuguese on my dad's side, and my mom is Caribbean. So coming from that like Caribbean kind of Latin background, is very, there's a certain way things go. There's a certain way you got to have a certain respect for your parents, and talking back, you're gonna get your booty slapped. So you know how that goes. I know you know how that goes.
Yeah.
So but yeah, growing up, that's how I grew up. I was actually a baseball player. I played baseball all of my life, from the time I was about 6 or 7 years old. My best friend, who actually is no longer with us now, he passed away in September, but his father actually got me into baseball, and he grew my love for baseball. And my dad actually didn't even want me to play baseball at the time,
Mm,
because my dad wasn't familiar with baseball. My dad was really into, soccer, or football, they call it here in Europe, but we as Americans call it soccer. So my dad was really into that, and he pushed me uh, into that realm. But I was so in love with baseball that eventually I stopped playing, and then he fell in love with baseball, and next thing I know, things really took off for baseball. And just like anything that I've done in my life, man, like anything that I put my mind to, if
mhm,
I'm gonna do something, I can't just be mediocre at it, you know and it's nothing about my physical ability or nothing. It's just a work ethic thing that I have. When I love something, I want to be the best, and I will work and make sure that I do whatever I can to ensure that that happens.
mhm.
So with baseball, I excelled. When I was very young, I was already getting looked at by professional scouts. The Baltimore Orioles organization was already looking at me. But let's say when I got a little bit older, I had a serious injury.
Mhm.
I tore my labrum and rotator cuff,
Oh,
and that kind of really kind of killed my career, because after I came back from that, things weren't the same. I
mm,
lost speed on my fastball, and mentally, I was just in a different position. And from there, let's long story short, from there things just kind of went down, and I decided to leave baseball. You know,
wow.
from there, I went on to modeling. So I was modeling a little bit. I was competing in men's physique. I was a
Yeah.
fitness model competing in men's physique and bodybuilding. I was the national champion for the under 19 division. And yeah,
Say it again for the people in the back that didn't hear that.
you stupid. National champion, men's physique national champion, Eastern USA national champion for men's physique in the under 19 division. Yeah.
Mm,
So under 19 division. So I was 19 when I competed. 19 and under is when I competed. And yeah, and then man, that was really cool experience competing, and I was bodybuilding for 5 years before that title. But the problem is that industry is
Yeah.
super fake. I mean, I don't really care who I'm going to offend right now. That's maybe in the fitness industry or some of my past friends that are in the industry, but it's a super fake and shallow industry, man.
Mm.
We're out here telling people, as when we're sponsored, that hey, take this protein and you're gonna look like me. But we all know damn well why we look the way that we look, and it has nothing to do with that protein powder we're selling.
Mhm.
So if you see where I'm going, but it's just it's just a very kind of fake industry, and it has a lot of positive things to it. For example, the determination you need and discipline that you need while working out, and I would even say there's even more discipline goes into the diet,
Yeah.
because the thing is that to be able to eat 6 meals a day of the same thing every day, you get bored really quickly. But to tell yourself, hey, I'm not eating for luxury, I'm eating for a purpose. So
Yeah.
this is where discipline really comes in. But eventually, my time passed, and then I went into the university, and this is where my dancing career started. I moved from New York for little time, and I went to Temple University in Philadelphia.
Oh wow.
And yes, Temple University. That's my alma mater. That's where I went to university. And from there, I had a friend. His name was Taiki. I don't know if he's around, if he's checking this out, or I don't even know if he's still dancing because I haven't been in touch with him. But he was like, "Yo, bro, come try out for the Latin dance club." And I'm like, "Bro, you crazy? Like, I'm not a dancer. Like, I'm not a dancer. So he's like, no, 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 it's okay. It's okay. Just come through and blah, blah, blah. Check it out. And he's like, there's a bunch of good looking girls and this, and that. And I told him, I'm like, look, for me, that's not like a major selling point.
Mhm.
If I enjoy the dance, I will enjoy the dance. And, cause in that department, I was cool. I was all right. So, and, yeah, so from there, man, I guess Soul. I'm reading Soul's comment. You not too bad yourself.
And
uh,
also big ups to Biscuit all the way in London showing us
hey, Biscuit, my brother, and Emerson. Hey, wow, I haven't seen
honestly.
Emerson in a minute, bro. I have not seen Emerson. Man, I think the last time me and Emerson saw each other, I was probably doing my first like bachata steps. Like, okay, maybe not that serious, but it was a long time ago. It was a while ago, but
Yeah.
it's good to see him. But yeah, bro. So from there, basically what happened is that I took his advice. I went on um, to the Latin dance team. I went to the tryout. I was killing it in the tryout for someone that wasn't a dancer, but so since our concert at Ballroom from Emerson, that was good times, bro. But yeah, so I was killing it in the tryout. Then we had to go do an audition like in front of everybody. I blacked out,
Oh,
and of course I was like, nah, yeah, I couldn't even move. Seriously, I was so scared. I couldn't even move. So from there, I just kind of hung my head. I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna make it on the team. And long story short, they ended up picking me anyway. Who knows why? Well, maybe I know, but anyway, I ended up on the team. They needed guys, whatever. But and that was my end, bro. That's how it started. From there, in like 2 to 3 months of being on the team, I became the best guy in the team. And then, actually, not too shortly after, I left to go train at Art in Motion Dance Academy with
mm,
Darling Garcia.
that makes a whole lot more sense now. Now
Yeah,
looking at everything makes
yeah.
total sense.
Yeah, yep. So I went to and I was training with Darlin for 8 months at Art in Motion. I was taking, man, I was taking all of their classes, from their beginner classes, their intermediate, bachata, salsa, everything I was taking. The only thing that I didn't venture into at that point, which they were offering at that point, was kizomba. But that kizomba, I'm dancing fluently. I started that a couple years ago, and I love kizomba, but that's
Yeah.
not something I started back then. But yeah, man. So that was my humble beginnings. That's where it all started, and from there I moved back to New York. I met my first partner, at a social called Bachata Rosa in New
Mhm.
York City. And from there, we met, we started doing our thing, and one thing led to the next thing. And I mean, I can go into detail about it, but it would take forever. But that's the gist of my humble beginnings. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, seeing just kind of how it all started and led up, and really, when I said earlier how it all makes sense, because art in motion, it has a very distinct style.
That's
So
true. Very
just
true.
the approach to the routine, but dancing in general, I
Yeah.
just like certain people can say, "Hey, you trained at this school, you have this specific style." So now
Yes.
it makes total sense. Big ups definitely to Art in Motion out there in the Philly area.
Huge shout.
Um,
Huge shout
yeah,
out to.
I mean, so while you were in the Philly area, did you
Yes.
get to go? Were you attending the socials that normally Art
What
in Motion?
was I attending the socials, bro? Oh my god, look, it it was so bad. I was literally out social dancing 4 or 5 days a week, man. I
Oh,
mean,
that's
we
money.
had
That's
we had. I will even shout people out directly. I was at Mambo Mondays,
Mhm.
right, with Roland. You know Roland?
Yeah, Roland Simmons.
Yeah, Roland said he was doing the Mambo Mondays with Eddie Alba, my boy. That's my brother. That's my big bro, Eddie Alba. They was doing it, and actually, I don't know if you remember Marina Lopez. She was Marina Lopez. She was teaching Eddie the pre classes. I was taking the pre classes. I mean, man, I was really going to every social during the week. Then you have Kevin. You know Kevin from Philly.
Sounds
Kevin now.
like
Kevin now
yes.
from
Yeah, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're
he
talking
had at Lucha Cartel. He had a massive event at Lucha Cartel. If you remember that event in Philly, and that was on Thursdays, Bachata Thursdays. I was going to that one. I mean, Darlin had his social once a month at the time, so I was going there. Mike Andino had his social. I mean, it was really I was dancing every single day. People was looking at me like I was crazy, bro, but I was so eager to get better, and I was so eager to just put myself, because I told you I'm one of those people that if I'm gonna do something, I
about. Mhm.
want to do what I can to be the best at it. And I knew that
Absolutely.
the way to do that was to do it all the time. So
Man, now that's awesome because for me, when I met you in New York,
yeah,
I just assumed you were learning in New York, but realizing you had kind of a history in
yes.
Philly. So when you were in Philly and working with Art in Motion, was it just strictly bachata?
No, I was taking all the classes. So I was actually never a part of Art and Motion Dance Company team. So I was
No,
never,
yeah.
yeah, I was never performing with them. That would have been probably my next step. Like
Mhm,
I would have joined the semi-pro team and try to work my way up to the professional team. That would have been the normal path. But I actually left Philly to go to New York.
mhm,
Uh, so when I left Philly to go to New York, then of course, I started setting my sights in New York, and I did my training there. But I had a lot of training in New York as well too, but not related to bachata. Actually, more related to salsa. Yeah,
gotcha. So then kind of help the audience as well get an understanding, even from people from Lithuania
yeah,
or abroad as well, an understanding from your point of view of what the New York City bachata scene was like for you.
yeah. The New York City bachata scene. So let's see. I came into the scene um, 2016. Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah,
2000.
yeah.
Yeah, 2006. Yeah, yes, 2016. So 2016, I came into the scene. And I would say I was in New York in what year? What, 2017? 2017, I think. I want to say, if I'm getting my years right, I think
Mhm,
2017 is when I moved back to New York from Philly, I believe. And yeah, so I mean, it really comes down to at the time at least. I can't speak for now because I'm not there now, but at the time, it was really two major schools and companies. It
mhm,
was New York Central Movement by Anna Syme, right? And Anna is one of my best friends. On the like
mhm.
me and Anna have always been very very close. And the other school was Bachata Rosa,
Yes,
uh, and that's by Dor and David
yes.
from Israel originally. Amazing people, amazing community that they've built there. So between those two schools, they really really created a really nice scene. Now, when I say bachata, I want to be a little bit more specific, yeah, because I don't want to leave anybody out saying, because we can't even forget about Caribbean soul. There's Edwin Ferreras, who was in New York at the time. Edwin for me is like really like the amount of respect I have for him and what he's done for the community, not only in New York, but not even in the United States, but just worldwide. Edwin for me is a very, very prominent figure for me. But if I'm referring to like the more modern, sensual style of bachata, right? Because that's why I said I wanted to be a little bit more specific when I'm talking about bachata, right? So
Yeah.
if we're talking about that kind of modern, sensual bachata fusion style, then we're looking more at bachata rosa and New York Central movement. So. Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. No, absolutely. I definitely understand because the kind of scene we were in, you had Bachata Me Mama, Ekla Kwakchen, different stuff with
Exactly.
yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. We can't forget about Alejandro.
Yes, definitely DJ Alejandro Boza.
I was at Alejandro's event every Sunday. LCL, Las Chicas Locas,
Oh,
and Las Chicas Locas was primarily those were the days, right, bro? But
uh,
Las Chicas Locas was primarily, it was more so a salsa event. But then what started to happen is that Anna from Central Movement decided to team up with Alejandro, and then they brought in the bachata room.
yeah.
So they were playing modern sensual bachata in there, and then yeah. So it was really an incredible event, and I really missed the LCL days. Yeah.
No, absolutely. I mean, people don't realize that people used to come from all over the world to LCL, knowing that I think around 5 to 9 you had the salsa, or maybe it was the other way around. Like you had bachata, one specific, and then even like in LCL, you had the room. But
Yeah.
after a while, bachata really started to grow. That more people were coming to the social to dance. That, from
100%.
my point of view.
100%. And that's also, and the last person I want to give a shout out to in New York, because we can't even talk about the bachata scene and how it was grown without talking about this person, is Mike Gill and Pura Vida.
Oh yeah,
Because
definitely.
Mike and Pura Vida and what they did, especially earlier on, even before I came into the
Yeah.
scene. They really did some really incredible things and opened up the blew up the scene, the bachata scene in New York. So I wanted just to make sure that we give them a shout out, and Pura Vida and Mike and Cornell and all of them, because they was really a prominent figures in the bachata scene, and they helped take New York's bachata scene to a whole new level. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, because again, when bachata, in terms of the scene, and since started coming into New York, it was sprinkles of it. I mean, you had Island Touch who came; they would have New York Touch. Then
Yeah, they would
with
have a
this,
near. Yeah,
you saw
but
them
that was
get the socials.
before
Yeah,
my time. Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, like realizing how far the bachata scene has come, that it really is a main staple in, especially in New York City pre-COVID as well. Because, like
Yes.
you said, in New York, you had places guaranteed you could almost fill your whole week up
Oh,
with
100%. Monday,
dance or bachata.
Wednesday. Yep. Yep.
You know, so you dancing in New York,
Yep.
you come upon this partnership that you're with. What was it like then now being at one point the novice dancer learning in Philly, coming to New York, like you said, you're training in also various styles. You create a partnership with someone. What is that feeling like then? Now you're starting to get booked for shows. Those
Well,
initial
but
moments.
it didn't happen like that though. It didn't
Mhm.
happen like that right away. So the way that it happened is that when I first started uh, with my first partner in New
Mhm.
York, I'm gonna tell you, we was actually romantically together. So we started as a romantic couple, and then about a couple weeks later, we decided that hey, we want to try to be a dance couple. So we made a Instagram and everything. So it was completely like our intentions weren't to all become like a dance couple and travel the world or travel the country or nothing like that. It was really just more of a cute thing for us to do as a couple. But then things just kind of took off. We started teaching. People really liked how we were dancing in the socials, and they're like, guys, like You know, like there's not a lot of different choices for instructors. Like we would love if you guys could teach something. And I told them, you know, at first I told people, I was like, look, you know, but we're not even really, we're just kind of starting off, and you know, we're not, you know, I don't know how you qualify as an instructor, but blah blah blah. But they're like, I said, look, I can show you what I know. I can show you what we know. If you like
Yeah.
what we're doing, you like our style, we can pitch in that way. And this is how it started, bro. But I was real from the beginning. You know, I was real from the beginning. And I told people, hey, look, you know, we're just starting out in this. We're just doing this. But if you like what we're doing, and there's demand for this, we will help. You know, we will give the people what they want. So we started, and our classes grew. I mean,
Mhm.
our classes were pretty big. You even in video, you taped one of our classes, I remember.
Yeah, and I think what
Yeah,
worked for you guys at that time, especially, was that before you became instructors, or evidently when you became instructors, it was kind of appointed by, in a sense, the people. But
correct.
before that, at that same sense, you were already in that environment, going to those events,
Yes,
networking. Evidently or inadvertently, you were networking yourself
correct.
even before this really got started. So once you start teaching, and the following is really organic, it's not really forced,
No,
because
yeah,
you're just
it's true.
inviting people that you already were in contact with,
Correct. Yeah, that's how it started. Yeah, yeah,
you know. So in that respect, then you're teaching, and then you know, like you said, the following is growing.
yeah.
What were those initial feelings then you start traveling? What are those experiences like? Not from the romantic part. I'm talking
Yeah.
strictly from the dancing part of understanding now that type of life. That for people who don't get it or don't understand, what is it like uh being kind of a professional traveler, professional dancer, but now traveling the world?
Yeah. So in regards to how, you know, my beginnings, and you know, first there was one actually major gig that we got that kind of transformed me and my first partner's career. And I can't even talk about my career without shouting out these people. And it's the Salsa Room, right? The Salsa Room in Washington D.C. So I have to give them a quick shout out, because they are the people that gave me and my partner an opportunity, uh, because they hired us, and because they hired us for the first time,
Yeah.
the 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 promoter of the DC Fall Salsa Bachata Festival,
Yes.
DJ Parker
Yeah.
Parker Coca-Cola, he picked us up from that event, and he said, "Hey, I just had a couple that had to cancel last minute, right, at my festival, which is next weekend. So if you guys can stay in DC, I can give you that teaching spot." So of course it wasn't paid. We had to invest. This is how it is when, well, at least back in the day, this is how it was when you first started out. You know, you didn't get paid. You had to invest in your stuff, and so you know, we said, hey, and look, bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. At the time, at that point in my life, I didn't have a lot of money, and
Yeah.
Brianna didn't have a lot of money, and we had, let's say, we maxed out some cards, and we had to go into some debt for that opportunity. But I will tell you that if we didn't make that sacrifice and we didn't put ourselves out there, I would never be where I am today.
Yeah.
So
I love the honesty in that, of
yeah,
course. I mean, it's it's one thing of just like teaching at a local class here and there, but then you start traveling, and then it's kind of like a rotation. You're constantly going through the same format, especially if you're like a weekend to weekend traveler. So I mean,
that's
it's a
how it is.
different type.
Yeah, that's how it is now. Now, in under normal circumstances, I mean, under normal circumstances, me and my current partner Yomante, we're supposed to be booked from, I don't know, March 2020 to, I think it was April or May 2022. We had our firm schedule,
Mhm.
you know. But now everything is kind of up in the air. Some events had to cancel. All of 2020 was canceled, of course. But you know, even going forward from today, this weekend we should have been in another country. I mean, so it's just, you know,
It's up in the air.
everything is up in the air until things start to change with the COVID situation, the pandemic. So
Absolutely, absolutely. So then, fast forwarding after the partnership finished for you, did you initially kind of go into a new partnership, or was it kind of that time to reflect and figure out what lane you wanted to go in?
Well, yeah, that's interesting. So after the ending of my first partnership, I think it was almost very immediately. I found my second partner. I've had three main bachata partners
Hmm.
since I entered the scene, and my second partner from New York was also from New York, and her name was Yvonne. You know Yvonne, yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, so I danced with Yvonne almost immediately after me and my first partner broke up, and that was a really cool experience dancing with her because we weren't together or romantic or anything, and we had a really good friendship, and it was just very nice and organic dancing together, and we did a lot of kind of cool things, and at that time is when I started to uh, branch off and start training in all the different dance disciplines. I started training in ballroom. I started training in contemporary, popping and locking, and etc. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, even as you're talking about that, because I remember we would talk about this actually. We would see each other at socials. I would ask how you doing, what's up with you. And I remember you telling me, like, hey, I'm training here, I'm training here, I'm training here. And I'm like, wow, putting in that effort and that work. Because people can talk about it, but when you're seeing the results, I remember you posting about that long, intensive training with ballroom, I believe. And that's not easy. I mean, so it definitely takes a lot of will and hard work. And
Yes.
Mikey here says non-romantic partnerships. Give it up. Yep,
Uh,
give it up.
okay, like it.
So, you know, after Iban, working with Iban, what was that was the next partnership the last one before the ultimate move in a sense?
Yeah. So the whole thing is that, as I said, when I was with Yvonne, and before that, a little bit before Yvonne and during Yvonne, I was I was in a ballroom academy, training in a ballroom academy, and where I was training literally 8 hours a day, literally 8 hours a day in ballroom. Uh, and it was a whole like training thing. So that was really cool. Then the next thing I was doing is I was going to Broadway Dance Center. I was
Mm.
training at Dance Center, and that's where I was taking my contemporary and popping and locking classes. So shout out to Miss J, incredible instructor at Broadway Dance Center. That's probably one of the most prominent instructors
Oh
that I
yeah.
had was there. So, but yeah, so that's how that worked. But man, like going back to the cross training, and the
Mhm.
cross training made me. The
Mhm.
cross training made my bachata career because without the cross training in the ballroom and the contemporary and the popping and locking, I wouldn't move the way that I move. I wouldn't creatively think the way that I think.
Yeah.
And I think that this is something that I really was excited to talk about today is that, the importance of training in other dance disciplines
Yeah.
other than the primary one, and that's, part of our slogan that we've created with Yomante for Elegancia Dance Company that we're becoming known by is "We Dance Everything." That's a slogan, and
Yeah.
that reflects our vision and our concept that if you want to improve yourself in your primary style of dance, it's very beneficial to train in other styles of dance. So if you're a bachata dancer and you say, hey, how should I improve my bachata dance? Okay, yeah, of course you should work on bachata to improve your bachata, but also I believe it's essential to train in different disciplines, especially like for example, popping and locking. Why popping and locking, Leo? What does that have to do with bachata? But the control, the level of control in
Mm.
the body that you need to exercise to be able to move your fingers through your wrists to the elbows to the chest. It really
Yeah.
takes such a high level of connection, mind to muscle connection, that it's just once you can do that, you can do anything. If someone says to you in the bachata basic step, okay, move with your upper body to the left, put your hips in opposition, you coming from popping and locking, it's automatic because you have that mind to muscle connection,
Mm.
same thing with ballroom. I mean, ballroom really transformed my dancing as well because it gave me posture, it gave me frame, it gave me lines, it gave me the intentional stepping and foot
Mhm.
position, you know, and stepping from the toe to the heel and weight transfer and
Yeah.
dynamics in dance. You know, it really transformed my dance, and I'm forever grateful that I made that decision to cross train in the dances that I did.
Yeah, because it definitely shows, and I think, like you said, being able to be versatile in different styles kind of molds the way you move, and that creates your niche. That creates who you are, your identity.
Mhm.
Because, I mean, for me, I think everybody should take an understanding of different styles instead of the one they just singularly focus on.
Yep,
And like you said, just promoting it because it's only going to help you get better. I
that's
mean,
it. That's
yeah,
it.
and realizing with you seeing your trajectory from being just a regular dancer at a social, then I'm seeing you in a teaching light. Now I'm seeing you performing, and I'm thinking to myself, the way this is going, it only can go up for him if he allows it to.
I hope
Because
so.
it's very easy kind of to just fall off and not stay as relevant, you know,
Of course.
especially in New York when we have so many dancers, so many schools, so many companies, events, you name it, and so many male dancers. So making yourself unique and, like you said, investing in yourself. So wait, question: you started off in salsa?
Nah, I started. Okay, so I started in bachata,
Okay.
right? I started with bachata, but I had the most training earliest on in salsa because when I first started, I mean, for example, first I will tell you. So I when I say I started bachata in or not started bachata, but when I really kind of entered the dancing in 2016,
Mhm.
it's not when I first took my first steps in bachata. I mean, that was years before that, right? And
Gotcha.
the reason for that, and I want to get into that also, is this is like I will never forget. I was scrolling through YouTube, and I was scrolling through YouTube, and I see some video with a couple million views, and it said bachata dance. Whose video you think it was? Think of it was Ataque en la Alemana Te
Mhm.
Extraño, and that's when I saw bachata, and I was like, of course I knew bachata. I always knew bachata, but when I saw them dance and how they musically hit all the beats and their expression and just the whole composition of that choreography, bro, it blew my mind. And for me, mentally, it stimulated me in such a way that I was like, maybe one day I would want to learn it, you know? And then I didn't initially go right into it and learn it right away. It took a couple years for things to find me, but of course, I have been, I had a lot of Latino friends and Latin friends, and I was immersed in the culture. So I always, of course, I was hearing the bachata at the parties and stuff, and I was dancing my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But in terms of like when I entered the
Yeah,
dance scene, it was in 2016, 15,
gotcha,
16. Yeah. Mhm.
gotcha. Okay. So what initially gave you that motivation to kind of make that ultimate trip to Lithuania? Because I remember for me,
Yeah.
I think I kind of heard it just suddenly, randomly. I was like, for me, I was like, there's a reason he's going there. It's not just like he picked the place and he's going. I know if
Mhm.
it has to do with dance, it's probably dance related, in my opinion, because I knew you were always up to something good and just to kind of better yourself.
I appreciate that. So what really made me go to Lithuania is that you know Yomante, my current partner, she, so first, look, in order to explain this, I first need to explain how me and Yomante met. Yeah. So in 2018, I believe it was Roma Central Symposium in Rome, Italy. A wonderful event put on by Nando Ferragrasso. So huge shout out to Nando. That was an incredible event, and his partner. And so me and Brianna were invited to Rome, Italy to teach. My first partner was invited to Rome, Italy to teach there. So we taught there, and Yomante was at that event as an artist teaching with her ex partner. So from there, me and Yomante social danced a couple times, and we had really good dance connection, and we just had good connection. Period. And we were actually all drinking, and we were like, oh, that'd be so funny if we ended up as partners one day, and just joking around. We're all drunk, and just like kind of like talking and joking around and stuff because I think her and her partner were talking about some acrobatics that they was doing, and they're like, oh God, if I break my neck or something, she says, "Oh well, I'll just go dance with Leo then." Like joking. We was joking, joking.
Joking.
You know, uh, I forget the exact dates and time, but her and her ex partner broke up, and I actually messaged her not for anything in particular, but it was more just like because she started posting a lot of lady styling stuff.
Mm.
And you know how girls are, and not even girls, but you know how both guys and girls are when they just break up with a partner. They want to prove that they like the upper hand out of the two, so they're posting all this kind. No, come on, bro. I'm just keeping it real. I
Yeah.
did it. She did it. We all do it. We all do it. So because we want to be more relevant, and we want to, they made a mistake. You know how we're human beings. It's okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So she's posting a lot of lady styling stuff, and she wasn't posting with her partner. So I said, hey, what's going on? She said, oh, me and my partner broke up, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, wow, I'm sorry to hear that, blah, 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 blah. So we was talking, and, she had mentioned that, because I was actually planning to do a tour in Europe, so I was like, okay, well, where you living again? And she told me, oh, I'm living in Lithuania. And I'm like, oh, where's that? Somewhere in Russia or something? And she was laughing. She was like, because if you know the history about Russia and Lithuania, it's not a very funny joke for Lithuanians. So, uh, but yeah, so when I figured out where she was like, hey, maybe if you're gonna come do a tour in Europe, you should come, like have your base be Lithuania. We can do projects together. And this was only supposed to be like a month thing. You know what I'm saying? We was really supposed to. I was supposed to go out there for a month, and we were supposed to work together, do our projects, and that was supposed to be it. Well, as you see, it didn't completely work out like that. I'm still here. You know what I'm saying? That was May 2019, and I'm still here. You know what I'm saying? So, so you see that it didn't work out like a 1 month thing, and then I go back. So yeah.
Man, and just seeing how everything played out. I mean, like thinking about May 2019, you didn't think in May of 2020 with everything that just went on, and just like you said, you thought it was a temporary thing of, hey, we're doing projects.
Do some projects. I'm gonna head home to my family, to my friends in the United States, and I came here, and that was it. That
Man.
was really.
So now my question to you is,
Mhm.
you're now kind of gaining some foot in Lithuania. You're working in a sense. You're doing projects with Jamante. What was the original reception to you kind of coming in the scene?
Reception in regards to the
The
attendance
reception from the community, from the
or
community in
other
Lithuania.
schools or what? How?
Meaning is like the reception of the Lithuanian dance community to you, kind of being a new dancer.
Incredible, incredible. I mean, I'm so grateful. I mean, when I first came to Lithuania, and Yomante had advertised and announced that I was coming to Lithuania for a month to teach with her, and she put up the event and everything. She didn't really know what to expect in terms of because she knew her average size of classes, and she had her school for many years, Saltati. She had it for many years, so uh, she kind of knew what to expect, but she didn't know how many people would come with the new instructor from USA was coming. Yeah.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, we was both pleasantly surprised because when I came, we had almost 50 people in our one
Wow.
of our advanced class. Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, it was crazy, crazy, crazy. And it was in the summer too, which is crazy because in the summer most people go away on vacation and stuff, but yeah, it was really, really interesting. There was a lot of people there, and from the time that I came, the entire Lithuanian dance community really accepted me. They made me feel at home here, and they are the reason why ultimately I call this my home, because they are who molded that home feeling here for me. Them, my partner Yomonte, and my other friends and family that I've made here in Lithuania. They're all the reason why I now call this my home. So
And it's amazing, of course, coming from New York, having
yeah,
your travels in Philly, um, and then getting to Lithuania. I mean, for many people, it's hard. It's not easy to go from one place to another and then make your home in a completely new country, kind of learning a new way of life in a sense.
of
So
course,
now a question I have for you. I
of
don't know if
course.
it's gonna be a tough question to answer, but
Tell me.
from your experience in Lithuania or just in Europe in general, traveling, do you feel that there's a difference between the scene in Europe and the scene in the States?
Oh, I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, there's no you can't even compare, But what I will say, but the USA is really on the come up, thanks to some of the incredible promoters uh, that are hosting some incredible events. But we're talking, if we are we talking about bachata, or are we talking about the Latin dance scene in general? Because those are two completely different things. Hold on, I lost you. I lost you. I can't hear you. Yeah.
No, my bad. Meaning in a sense just of the community, because of you having the experience of uh, going to Philly, but also really in New York, being in that dance scene. Do you feel
Okay.
like the atmosphere is maybe different between New York?
Atmosphere much different. I mean, here but it varies country to country. For example, Lithuania is in Europe, and so is Spain. Spain is also in Europe, but it's two completely different realities and two different cultures. So, for example, if we're talking about how people are acting, like in Spain, people are very touching each other. They're hugging when they first meet you, and they're like all up in they're very warm. But in Lithuania, people are a lot more reserved in the beginning, So when they
Mm,
first, hey, how you doing? I'm American, so we're super like, hey, what's whatever.
yeah,
But looking at me when I first came, they were like, "Oh, why he's so friendly?" You know what I mean? But it's just a cultural difference that we have. But as soon as we break through that barrier, I mean, the quality of people here in Lithuania is just incredible. They are real people. I mean, no fake, false. Like, oh, you know how Americans are sometimes, man. Like I'm
yeah,
American, so I'll be the first one to put us on blast, and we tend to be a lot very politically correct sometimes, and oh, hey, what's up, bro? And then yeah, yeah, fuck this guy, excuse my language, but you
but
know
even Demonte says he likes things.
you know what I mean? So, but in Lithuania, if someone doesn't like you, man, they just don't associate themselves with you. You can come up to them, hey, what's up? They won't put their hand up to say what's up, and I respect that, and I
Yeah,
like that. And this is how I've been, and this is how I want it to be, because you know what it is. There's
mhm,
no false, oh yeah, I'm pretending like I'm this, but I don't like him, but I'm being political. Nah, there's none of
yeah.
that out here, so I like that.
I appreciate that. I mean, I think that's what everybody wants kind of there in the community, especially
Yeah,
when it comes to dancing. Because at the end of the day, no matter what we say, we all come together when there's music and there's a floor. We all
100.
come together and dance in some form of fashion. So you and Jamonte, you guys are working together. Elegancia Dance Company comes. I start seeing, of course, in the beginning, it's mainly you and her doing choreographies, but
Yep.
then also now you're incorporating even and I told you this too, I really love the videographer you have, I believe is Demontis?
No, Donatus.
Donatus.
Yeah.
Um, for me as a videographer, I really pay attention to other ones and realizing how they capture moments because I think too it started to really put you ahead in my opinion, above
Yeah.
a lot of other instructors or people who were doing demos and visuals
Mhm.
was the way the filming also happened besides the choreography.
Yeah.
Everything goes into place from the lighting, from just how you the angles of how you capture it, but it also depends on you and your partner to
Well,
execute.
of course, of course. So at the end of the day, if you don't have a foundation, if you know, a professional camera, it's not gonna hide bad dance technique, right? It'll make a pretty scene around bad dance technique, but a professional camera will not mirror or hide dancing. So you have to have good dance technique. You have to have good connection with your partner. You have to have good overall body movement and technique. But with that said, however, videography and is very, very, very essential as a marketing tool. And I am very grateful. Yomonte is very grateful, and the entire I can speak for the entirety of Elegancia Dance Company. We're all extremely grateful for Donatus and the opportunity to work with him. He's really been incredible, and he's equally as good of a videographer as he is dancer. He's an incredible
Oh, yeah.
dancer,
Yeah.
incredible dancer as well too. I mean, the guy is trained in ballet for so many years, ballroom for so many years. He was a professional ballerina, professional ballroom dancer. So he's a really really trained uh, dancer, and he's an incredible person as well too. So we're super grateful to have him. Not only as as a videographer on our team, but as an essential dancer and part of our
Mhm.
brand. Because he started as just a videographer in terms of but he's an essential part of our brand as a dancer.
Yeah.
So it's really really incredible, and we're very very grateful to have him. We're very very grateful to have his partner Laura and the rest of our team on Elegancia Dance Company. It's really a wonderful, extremely talented bunch of people that we have, and we're very grateful.
Yeah. Absolutely. And also, I would say it definitely throughout that year, and even into late 2019, just seeing the work you were able to accomplish during those times, from the visuals and then creating a semi-pro and a kind of a pro team in a sense,
Yeah,
seeing now your vision was coming to light. I mean, it happened to be in another country, but also surrounding yourself as well with newer people that, like you said, were classically trained already in other various styles, just as you were training yourself before you came there. I think
yeah,
everything just fell into place. And
everything takes place. Yeah,
it's
yeah,
true. And like you at one time being a regular instructor, now being a director, that's a whole new responsibility. And
yeah,
seeing you taking it on head on and constantly creating, it was special. And then now it kind of leads me to the present, and really the future outlook on things. Realizing, like you said earlier, 2020, just your schedule at one point was filled throughout that year into this year.
yeah,
And with COVID, everything changed, and some countries and some cities are still going through lockdowns, as we know.
yeah, hundred
So
percent.
for me, I've always wanted to understand from artists like yourself, what was that time period like for you? Was it more of like a reflection period, or did you kind of just feel like you had to start back at square one?
And you're talking about in regards to being a director, or
Just like, yeah, because really going from you're about to start traveling, you have your team and everything according, but not knowing what's going to happen next. What was that like for you?
yeah, I mean, so being a director and being a dancer there's just apples and oranges. I mean, at the end of the day, it's the same thing like being a dancer and being an instructor are two separate skills. And so in regards to our professional team, Elegancia's professional team, I mean, we were ready for a lot of incredible events. I mean, if COVID didn't happen, we would have already been in probably like 10 or 12 festivals, congresses, events. So we had very here in Europe and in the United States. So we
Mm.
have had a very busy schedule. We had to have a very busy schedule, but with the pandemic and stuff, it's just who knows when things are going to get better. Maybe it's going to be in next month, maybe it's going to be in 3 years. I mean, we don't know. So it's
Yeah.
just, but we kind of have a general idea of when things will here in Europe should start to clear up in the summertime. But you know, I don't know. Nothing is known for sure. There could be another strand of the virus that comes out and hits hard. Who knows? Who knows? You know. But in regards to directing a team, you know, I did direct a team in New York, Coalition with
Yes.
Ivan. Yep. So it was Coalition we had with my second partner Ivan,
Hmm.
and we performed at the Baltimore Salsa Bachata Congress and a couple other pretty big events, and that was a great experience. But it you know it's also two separate things to
Hmm.
direct a student and direct professionals. You know,
Hmm.
when you're directing a professional team versus directing a student team, it's two completely different things. You know, when
Yeah.
you're directing students, it's not that much different than a group class in a lot of different ways. You know, in terms of organizational structure and stuff, yes, it's different than a group class, of course, but but directing a professional team, especially directing a professional team with people that on the team that are all famous
Mm.
in Lithuania. So a lot of people that are on my professional team, they're already famous in Lithuania as dancers, not in the bachata scene, but as dancers.
Yeah.
Whether it's ballroom, contemporary. Most of my team was also featured on Dancing with the Stars, and I'm not even referring to being featured with me on
Yeah.
Dancing with the Stars, but a lot of them were like, we have one guy, Davidis Mishkauskas. He was on Dancing with the Stars for 10 seasons.
Mm.
10 seasons. So, you know, we have two other guys that spent a couple seasons on Dancing with the Stars as well too. So, you know, my point is that, you know, when you have people that are already kind of known and famous in Lithuania, you know, it's a little bit more difficult because then, you know, you have to kind of switch your method of how you're directing the team, because you know it's not you want to treat everybody as equal, but you still
Yeah.
also have to maintain order. You know what I'm saying? You know, you don't want to be like a dictator, like you know, but at the same time there has to be some order. So there was a transitional phase for me, 100%. There was a transitional phase where I was figuring out the right balance of to where to be in charge, but where to let back, and it was all a learning phase. But Yomante and I are extremely happy with how everything turned out, and we're very grateful for everyone on our team. We really have an amazing people, and I couldn't imagine this company without the people in it. So.
Man, big shout out again to Elegancia Dance Company and Jomante. I've also seen her work as well, even on YouTube, I believe, through her ballroom times. I mean, phenomenal, like you said.
She was alright. She was alright. She was just, you know, world champion, you know, national champion. You know,
Well,
it's not really a big deal or anything to talk about. You know,
well,
everybody's world champion, right? No, I'm joking.
I'm telling Jomante I'd love to have her on and have her speak about her experience as well. But I think
No,
now it helps me into now the segment, kind of closing out really, that we have called the randoms. But before we get to that, a
mhm,
question I definitely have is from, like you said, your humble beginnings, your early beginnings, all the way till now to the stages you are in your life.
yeah.
You've grown now from being again just a beginning dancer to start instructing. Now you have your own company, and you're helping others and inspiring others along the way. What have really been the biggest lessons that you've learned throughout your life and really your dance career?
I mean, it's so funny you asked that because I've been asked this, and you know, one of the most important takeaways actually comes from an event I was at in North Carolina when I was still in the United States, and I will share this very quickly. Uh, so I went to the event, and at the event, I was teaching. I was a featured instructor at the time at the event in North Carolina, and there was a girl that was in the class, and she really looked like a wreck. She looked like a mess. Like, I'm talking about emotionally, her
Yeah.
face, she looked like she was okay, you know. And so anyway, I started the class. I noticed her right away, but I started the class, and I started warming up everybody, and I'm screaming, I'm shouting, I'm joking around, and she starts breaking out, and she starts laughing and smiling and having a good time.
Yeah.
And it's just okay, maybe somebody was having a bad day, whatever. It's just so the lesson is over. The workshop is over. It's a 2-hour workshop. The workshop's over. She comes to me and she said to me, "Hi, Leo." And I said, "Yes." And she said, "Oh, I just wanted to introduce myself." And I said, "Oh, it's so nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah." She goes, "You had a really amazing workshop." And I was like, "Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it." She's like, "You changed my life." And I was like, "Oh, come on, stop it." It's like, "You
Mhm.
change my life, change your life with a workshop. What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
She said, "Look, did you know that before this workshop, I had something really bad happen in my life and I was going to kill myself tonight?"
Wow.
She said she was going to kill herself tonight. That night, after the workshop, after the dancing, she was planning on killing herself. And she was so happy in that workshop and she had such a good time that it gave her the strength to continue to move on and continue living. And bro, it really that changed the way that I saw my work completely.
Yeah.
Because then at that point I realized, if I didn't realize it already, I realized that what we do as instructors, local instructors, as national instructors, as artists, as international artists, as famous artists, people look up to us, bro, and we don't know what people are going through.
Hmm.
You know? Sometimes when somebody comes to ask you to dance, you don't know what that person's going through, and sometimes artists take that for granted,
Yeah.
and they say, "Oh no, I don't feel like dancing, so no, sorry, I don't want to dance." But you don't know what that person's going through in their life, and just you saying yes to them,
Yeah.
just you saying yes, sure, let's dance, could change the whole trajectory of not even their day, but of their life.
Yeah.
So I feel that us as Latin dance instructors in the community, as international artists, we need to really keep these things in mind, and we really have to make sure that we are conscious that we don't know what's going on in people's lives, just as they don't know what's going on in our lives, and we have to be sensitive to that because we have the power to change people's lives.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, through dance, as you said, just those specific moments, you don't realize how important it is to the person you're talking to until, they tell you things like that. But again, I definitely, you and many of the artists that I've met, I've seen you guys put smiles on people's faces, and people realize some people really come to these 3-day weekend events just to escape from their reality. So
Right,
having artists like yourself that are able to listen to them and understand them, that's also really, really important because, as instructors, you guys are looked upon as leaders,
right,
so I mean, again, I love what you've been doing. Just everything you've been able to do, you just keep stepping up and taking that initiative. And again, I definitely see amazing things with you and Jamonte and the company as well, and the also future projects. And now again, this leads us to our last segment called the randoms, which is about 10 questions that allows myself and the audience to get to know you a little bit better. And all I need to ask you is, when are you ready?
I'm ready now.
All
I'm
right. Number
ready.
one, favorite food.
Woo! I mean, I don't even have to think about that. My favorite food, hands down. Anybody that knows me really well, I'm a steak fanatic.
All right. All right. How do you like the steak?
Oh, the only way you can eat it, medium rare. So
Oh, okay.
the
Okay.
only way to eat the steak, yeah.
All right.
If
I like
it's
that.
quality steak, it's got to be medium rare. If it's not the high quality steak and it's fishy and you don't trust it, then medium well is a better option. But if
All
you
right.
know it's quality, medium rare all the way. So.
Okay. I had to test your New York card. I had to test that.
Oh, I
All
mean, look, you know, the Caribbean in me would have said, "Well done." You know what I'm
right.
saying? That's, the Latino Caribbean in us. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want the, hey, you better take that well done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they don't trust the meat and stuff. So that's
Absolutely. All right. Next question. If you could have one song you can dance to with somebody, what would that song be?
one more time from you. Said if I had one song that I
One
can.
song that you could dance with somebody to, what would that song be?
I mean, I'm doing this every day. If I want to dance with to a song, I'm dancing with Joe. So, uh, wow, that's difficult. I don't know. I don't know. It's a difficult question for me just because I'm doing it every day. It's like, oh, I heard a song that I want to dance to. I'm all right, Joe. We have practice today, so let's dance. So you know what I'm saying. So it's a little bit difficult for me to answer that question, but I could tell you what songs I really love. I could tell
But
you a song I really
I
love.
would say one song from DJ Tronky. What would that song be?
Right now?
Yes, right
Oh,
now.
Afterglow. Afterglow. That's stuck in my head.
And I'm actually gonna issue a challenge right here live. I would love for you and Jamonte to do a video to DJ Selfies, Everything I Wanted by Billie Eilish. I would love to see. I'm giving you a challenge if you can do it or not.
Let me check it out. Let me check it out, and if it fits our style and our mold, maybe we'll give it a shot for you.
Yeah,
So yeah,
absolutely.
and
All right,
huge shout out to DJ Selfie. He's one of my day one people. So from New York. So
absolutely, absolutely. All right, next question. What would be your dream vacation destination?
dream vacation. I don't even ever think about vacation because I'm always thinking about work. But no, seriously, it's like a disease. But wow, my dream maybe Maldives, maybe Maldives,
Hmm.
But I really don't think too much about vacation and stuff because I'm every second of the day I'm
Mhm.
thinking about how making moves or what
Yeah.
move I can make next. So like that's just how I am personally, and it's a blessing and it's a curse. But I would say yeah, Maldives is a place I definitely like to try out.
All right,
And
nice. All right,
mhm.
what did the 10-year-old Leo want to be?
Oh, professional baseball player.
Gotcha. Ooh, so what's your team actually?
Oh, come on, bro. Where I'm from.
No, 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 no. Don't do this. Don't do
Where
this.
I'm
Don't
from,
do this.
bro. You tell me where I
Don't
was
do this.
born.
Don't do this because I'm gonna
Because we got two teams.
our answers, our
We
answers are gonna be
true.
two completely different answers.
Okay, that's true. That's true. That's very
Wait,
true.
so who's your
So,
baseball team?
Yankees.
Oh,
Yankees.
yeah, I'm a Mets fan, so it's okay.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was gonna.
Let's
At
start.
first,
Let's
I
start.
was thinking, oh yeah, the Mets are there too. Yeah.
It's all
Woo!
it's all good. It's all good. All right, next question. What would be your spirit animal?
Spirit animal. I'm not too into the whole spirit animal thing, so you have to explain a little more about that.
Like if you can compare yourself to like an animal, some people say they would compare themselves to like a wolf because you can be alone or you can be with a pack as well. Some people, when you talk about elephants, very good with their memory. There's sometimes when people use that in that regard.
I would say I don't know how many animals have these instincts, but I'm just one of those people that if you look out for me and you got my back, I will take 400 bullets for you. But if you stab me in the back, right?
I got to figure out what animal that is, but
If you can find an animal with those traits, then let me know, and that's my spirit animal. So.
got you. I think the spirit animal is Leo. We're gonna take a bite out of Frankie Martinez's book. When I asked him that same question, he said, I'm a spirit animal." So I would definitely say. But all right, next question would be, what is a big don't for a person when they're dancing with you? I mean, like, what is something you really is a huge pet peeve for you
Yeah.
when dancing with someone?
Yeah. Well, my thing is one thing that I don't like is when I'm dancing socially with someone and you can see that they're more concerned about how they look dancing versus
Mm.
connecting through the dance. I would say that's probably the most annoying thing for me. And I'm an artist. I'm usually traveling to events every weekend, so of course, if I feel this from someone, I'll still kind of keep my my smile on and go through the
Yeah.
dance because it's my job and I'm getting paid for this. But you know, I don't like that because I feel that if you're gonna dance with someone, dance with someone, and connect. Try to connect. Maybe you can't connect, but try to connect and try to just kind of live that moment with the person, whether rather than being so worried about how you look and who's looking at you and etc. So
Okay.
yeah.
Next question would be, what is one of your most memorable performance venues that you were at? Like you had an amazing
I
performance
mean,
and you
this is
remember it.
this is easy for me. The Reno Latin Dance Festival in
Mm.
Reno, Nevada. Wow. I mean, wow. Talk about a production, bro. I mean, that is not wow. Wow. Seriously. I mean, between Reno Latin Dance Festival and DC Bachata Festival by Lee and Kat, I mean, wow, those are just two incredible stages. And I feel that the people in DC, they really have to they need to travel outside of that festival in
Mhm.
order to have a better and greater appreciation for the work that Lee and Kat do with DC Bachata Festival. Because bro, I'm telling you, DC Bachata Festival is one of the best events in the world.
Mm.
Like and and Lee and Kat are not paying me for this. So just FYI. This is coming from my heart, seriously. And I really mean this. That event is a really incredible event, and the Reno Latin Dance Festival is that was serious. Performing on that stage
Mhm.
was a whole nother ball game. That was
Yeah.
crazy. That
Okay.
was yeah. Mhm.
All right. Next question. 3 follows that you could have right now to dance with. Who would those 3 be?
3 follows.
Yes.
Woo. Okay. Well, other than Yomante, because she doesn't count because she's my
Yeah.
partner.
Separate
Uh,
from Jamontani, 3 fresh people.
okay, I would say Letty from Abdel and Letty. That is my homegirl. I love her. I love them, and I really love dancing with her. Um, who else I really like dancing with? Carla, if you know Carla Caporedondo from Spain,
Yes.
she was partnered with Vladdy. Yep, for
Yeah.
a while. I love dancing with Carla. She, for me, is one of the most incredible ladies out there in the scene. So I really enjoy dancing with her. One more. Hmm. That's difficult, man. I mean, you're gonna make me choose between and I would say Judith from Corky and Judith. I mean, Judith for me is really incredible. I mean, how she's following and how she's dancing
Yeah.
is really just on another level. So I would say one of those 3 for me. If we're talking about especially if we're talking about international artists. But I mean, I hate to brag, bro. I really hate to brag, but all my girls on my team are. I can literally just dance with. I could be in a huge festival and I can dance with all the girls on my team just in a
Yeah.
rotation would be set. Like, and this
That's
is not so this is not even about me. This is more a reflection on them and how good they are and how exceptional followers and dancers that they are. So as I said, bro, I'm really blessed with my team and they're really, really incredible. So
all right. Nice. All right. Second to last question. What is a special talent that you have many people wouldn't know?
talent. Hmm. I mean, I do a lot of stuff actually. I get made fun of because the people they're like, is there anything you don't do? Like because
Big
I'm really
I don't know.
It's because I just like to know how to do everything, you know.
Yeah.
But maybe cooking.
Okay. That's
I'm
good.
cooking like not cooking like, oh yeah, I know how to cook. Like I'm cooking, like but what I'm saying? Like I'm cooking like cooking.
Well, I think we need to see proof of that in the
Well,
future. Then we got to see a little picture here and there.
something I told you I got a lot of projects coming up, so I got something related to
Mm,
coming up in the upcoming future. So that's
okay. Oh, wait, even Jamal
uh,
is singing and playing guitar.
so yeah, I sing, I play guitar too a little bit, not a little bit. I've been playing guitar for 15 years, but yeah, I sing, I play guitar, and I play piano as well too and stuff. So yeah.
Wow. It's just like a jack of all trades. Well, here it brings us now to our last question. And
Mhm.
this one, I changed it up many from the last questions I usually ask. This one for you, I want to ask is what is the future of our dancing?
That's very broad question. You know, that's a very broad question, but we could approach this in a bunch of different ways. But I mean, the future of dance is of our dancing is limitless. It all depends on what we make of it. It all depends on you've seen how much things have changed. Let's say even in the past 5 to 6 years, that
Yeah.
is telling of really what's to come. For example, years ago, people got booked and stuff through performances more so and
Mhm.
competition. When they won competitions and they became known as performers, then they started getting gigs to be booked as artists to teach workshops and perform. But nowadays, and well, I don't, United States is a little bit different, but it's starting to adapt this culture. But it's
Mhm.
predominantly Europe is, a lot of artists get booked because of their demo videos, you know,
Yeah.
Europe, so the culture is changing. So in 6 years, I don't know the direction things will go. I think that all of us artists, all of us directors, all of us artists, we can actually shape it in a way that we see fit. And promoters, we can all kind of shape the scene the way that we would like it. So if we all come together and we keep doing what we need to do for the scene, it's going to end up in a good place, and it's going to be where it should be. But I see the Latin dance community going nothing but up from here. So.
And the reason too I asked that question was intentional because I love to get an understanding from the dancers that I know what their perspective is. Some people are just thinking day to day. Some people are thinking a year or 2 years from now. Some people are looking 5 to 10. So I'm glad I asked that question and to understand your viewpoint. And I think it is true. Our scene is limitless, but again, it all starts with us. What
Yeah.
we're able to put out is what we're going to get in.
Yeah.
And again, I thank you for doing this segment called The Randoms because I definitely think it allowed myself and the audience to get to know a little bit more about you, even though Jamonte looks like she knows a whole lot and even more stuff I didn't know.
I would say there's not many people in the world that know me like her.
Yeah.
Maybe not anybody, period. I would say other than my parents, maybe, and uh, my best friend who passed away, and
Mhm.
his parents. Other than them, I would say she's probably the person who knows me best in the world. So
Wow. Again, big shout out to Jamonte. And now that brings us to the conclusion of our talk today. As here it is today, over there it is evening time. It's around afternoon time here. But I really want to thank you, Leo, for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come on to this platform and talk again from your heart with your full transparency and honesty. And I definitely think today was a really good building block and a way to just catch up on things, kind of see where your head's at, but also be able to celebrate most of the success that you've had this far.
yeah, Diamond, I really, first off, I really appreciate you. Thank you for inviting me onto your platform, onto your channel. I've been following your work for a while. I mean, we've known each other forever, but
Yeah.
since you launched this project, and I saw when you first started, and I see what your platform has transformed into, and it's really really incredible to see what you're doing. And it's beyond just a talk show, but it's really giving artists a way to present themselves and to see different pathways
Mhm.
and in the industry. So I'm very grateful, as well as all of the other national artists, instructors, international artists, as everyone's promoters, DJs, everyone's incredibly grateful for what you have done. And I hope that you continue with it. And then I really wish you the best of success with it.
Absolutely, I appreciate it because again, it's the conversations that we have are just pieces of knowledge that can be given to so many people throughout the world because the same questions people might ask you or want to know about you, you have something like this to look back on and say, wow, I learned a little bit more about Leo, about his early beginnings and presently how he feels about things. And for me too, I always ask my guests as well before we do go if you had any last few words as well for myself and the audience, but also contact info on how people can see your future projects.
Yeah. So, real quick, I do have a lot of future projects coming up, a lot of things that are done, but I just am waiting to announce. So stay tuned, everybody. Please stay tuned. To follow me, you can find me on Facebook, Leo Cato. You can find me on Instagram, Leo Elegancia, Leo Cato Elegancia. Also, Leo Enyomante. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, whatever. Yeah, we're on all the different platforms. So Leo Diamante official on Instagram, Elegancia Dance Company on Facebook and on Instagram. So within one of those portals, there's always a way to contact us and stay up to date with our projects and what we're moving on to next. So
Absolutely, man. Again, it's been great really to reconnect after all these years. Just seeing that you look healthy, you're doing well for yourself. And again, I'm really excited to see the future projects as well. As many people know, I have a group called The Collective, as well as the live discussions with Diamond podcast, where you can see this interview, but also The Collective, where I'm sharing a lot of the daily and weekly content coming from Elegancia Dance Company. So definitely follow that. Again, Leo, I thank you so much for taking your time out to
thank
talk
you.
to me and everybody that's been able to tune in. I thank you all. And you're tuned in to another episode of the live discussions with Diamond Podcast. I'm Diamond here with Leo. And thank you everyone for tuning in. And we will see you next time.
Woo!